So I like to refer to one of my favorite quotes of Albert Einstein, and he said, if I had 60 minutes to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes defining it and 5 minutes solving. And this is in our world, my world of problem solving, is exactly my experience. We get called by big companies to help solve large problems, usually in the big power downs in the country or data center outages and things like that. And the most important part is just first defining the problem. This goes for simple problems, complex problems, complicated problems, chaotic problems, for whoever followed the talk on Kinefin. It's always the same. First define the problem. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. Actually, yes. What else? Yes. What else? No, wasn't sick. What else?
How do you know he died?
I poked him with a stick and he didn't move. What else?
Was he alive before?
Yes, he was alive before. Who knows what I'm doing?
Counting yes himself. Close and open questions.
Close and open questions, that's right. So this is one of the most important points here. Huh? Okay. Because a lot of times when I get called to big IT companies usually, or also industrial companies, where they get stuck solving a problem, usually they call me and they say, help, we are stuck. And what they're really saying is, we can't think of any more causes that we're going to test, that we're going to check if they are there. Because that's what's happening with closed questions. And I'll explain how this works. So closed questions, open questions, everybody knows just about. We visualize also the problem itself, the cause and effect chain. Yeah? And let me show you. How many of you know about the 5 why principle? Well, most of you, okay. So this is a commonly known tool that people use for root cause analysis or describing a problem, right? But there's something else you can do additionally. The concept behind 5 why is very good. However, I'm going to show you something else. So let's say this is a problem. Bad product reviews on the internet. And I'm going to do this with 5 why. Why is the bad product review on the internet? Because the users are unhappy with the product. Why are they unhappy with the product? Because they experience problems. Why? Because the software went into production with a bug. Why? Because the software had a bug. Why? Because the software was not tested sufficiently. Have you ever heard this root cause, testers? Here's where I made the code. Here's where I tested the code. This can't possibly cause something that already happened in the past. Unless you're in Back to the Future, the cause is always before the effect. Yeah? Limitations. So let's open up this limitation and do something else. Let's start with the main event here. This is an event map that I'm going to show you. And you can make this as well if you ask the right questions. Asking the open questions. So what is the main event? What is the main problem? Well, the users experience problems. Now, instead of going down to the cause, first I'm going to go up to the consequences. Yeah? So I'm going to be asking, what are the direct consequences of the fact that the users experience problems? Well, they are unhappy with the product. What are the direct consequences of that? The bad product reviews on the internet. What are the consequences of that? Well, the product sales decrease. And an important open question to ask, which we're not triggered if we just think about 5 why, is what else? So what about the testing then? So that's the next step. Other than just looking at the main event, the consequences, and then the causes, I'm also going to be asking, okay, what should have prevented this problem from happening? What measures did we take in order to prevent a bug in the software going to production? Well, we had testing. Oh, okay, good. But it didn't work. It worked, but it didn't find the bug. Why did it not find the bug? So here again, I have another 5 why principle just going down. Well, we didn't have enough time for testing. I don't know if that ever happens, but now I'm going to be talking about the concept of complex problem solving, because this is a hype at the moment. And one of the reasons for that is this. The World Economic Forum a few years ago said that complex problem solving is the #1 skill for the future. Of course, we like that a lot because we are complex problem solvers. However, there's one problem with that, or there's a problem with that. When they did this research, they didn't include the Netherlands. We work primarily in the Netherlands, so we set out and asked the University of Rotterdam to do a research for us. What am I now tomorrow going to do differently than yesterday? Yeah? The other one is Cynefin, where we look at how to find the relation between cause and effect. Do we just have to look at it and know what's going on, or do we have to sense something and make an analysis, or do we have to measure something or do something? Yeah, it makes sense. We thought about it, but still I couldn't make it very practical. Is that actually a lot of times problems seem complex, but they are really not so complex. I've solved, I don't know, hundreds of problems in my professional career as major incident manager, crisis manager, complex problem solver, and I can think of maybe 3 problems that were really complex out of hundreds. And all of the others were not really complex, but they seemed complex. And that's what's being experienced a lot of times. So for this, and that's my talk for today. Thank you very much.